It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm senior meteorologist Wesley Williams. So this is going to be an update focusing on multiple things that we are tracking for you today. We are taking a new look at the potential for freezing temperatures next week. Plus, we do have some updates on the rain chances for Friday and a look at the possibility of fog tomorrow morning. So multiple things that we're tracking as we're finally getting out of the first part of the week and moving toward the second part of the week that's bringing some change to our weather pattern. So before we get too into everything, I do want to just kind of start with the main story so that we're not getting too lost in the messaging over the next 10 minutes. The main takeaway that I want you to take away from today's video is this first alert to a cold blast that is going to move into our area next Monday. So that is going to be a major shock to the system. Strong north winds, the daytime wind chill could be a factor. You know, we talk about wind chill when you factor in the wind to see how cold it feels, and that could be something to be concerned about during the day on Monday, let alone what happens at night. And speaking of at night, that's what is a possibility. At the bottom there, you see temperatures dropping to the lower and middle 30s Monday night into Tuesday morning. So that's why we're concerned for a freeze. And there's still some time between now and then to fine-tune and finalize the exact numbers of the temperatures that are expected. But even to just see lower and middle 30s is enough that you want to already be thinking of a plan for any plants, any pets, any people that you care about that could be exposed to those conditions. You may wind up needing to put protections into place for those. Let's take a look at the winds over the next 7 days. So the windiest weather we're expecting to see either Friday or Sunday into Monday. Friday, just a little breezy at times, but then we get the strong cold front to get into the area on Sunday, and that's what gets the winds to start kicking up. They'll stay breezy Sunday night, and they'll probably stay breezy Monday. They might even get a little stronger on Monday, frankly. I know this is 15 miles an hour. Those numbers are not finalized. They might go up as we get a little bit closer. I think Sunday we'll call it 15 to 20 miles an hour, and Monday might be 15 to 25 miles an hour with even higher gusts. But before we get into the rest of it, let's start in the short term and work our way back to the cold blast. So first of all, look at the short term, the wind forecast for today. You see that barely getting 10 miles an hour. Wind forecast for tomorrow, also barely getting 10 miles an hour. When you have calm conditions, when you have mostly clear sky, and when you have maybe a little bit of humidity coming into the picture, that's going to be something that kind of sends off the fog signal in my head. And so this is a look at the potential for fog, which actually the new information coming in showing even foggier weather possible for Saturday morning. So I was thinking it was just a Thursday, Friday morning thing and we get a break Saturday, but it might be even more widespread Saturday. So the reason why we are going to see more fog is because the air is turning muggier. The air is also turning warmer compared to earlier this week. And in the cold season, when you warm up during the cold season, it's kind of a recipe for fog, especially if there's any humidity in the mix as well. Now, the type of fog we see tomorrow morning, if we see any at all, notice not everyone getting it, right? If we make this bigger on your screen, you can see maybe a place like Diamond Head might not get fog. Maybe a place like Van Cleve sees way more fog. So it's patchy, right? Patchy fog for Thursday morning. Friday morning also has the potential for some patchy fog. There might also be rain causing low visibility on Friday morning as well. And then Saturday morning might be even more widespread because, get this, the moisture from Friday's rain gets soaked into the ground. And so that kind of soil moisture makes it much easier for more widespread fog to develop heading into Saturday morning. So that makes sense to me to see that. Now, we did mention Friday rain, right? Technically, the Friday rain might start as early as Thursday night, which is tomorrow night. So let's take you to the futurecast, showing you tomorrow night. This kind of started a little bit faster than I wanted it to. Let me rewind it. So we start the clock at midnight Friday morning, and what we're going to see is this kind of surge, perhaps, of moisture from the Gulf. You can almost see it right here, this section of clouds. And within this section of clouds that's going to be surging in from the Gulf, there can be some rain and some showers embedded in that. And so as I find my weather word for showers, there it is. So some showers developing at times Friday morning. Watch what happens when we put this into motion. You'll notice that we do indeed see those showers flaring up by the sunrise time frame on Friday, and that could impact your morning drive to work, to school Friday morning. Some of these might linger in the area, not just for Friday morning as you see them around in the morning hours, but they might also linger into Friday midday. So you can still see a good amount of rain showers across parts of South Mississippi. So we do have a decent chance for some scattered showers and storms Friday. And then maybe Friday evening, most of that activity begins to move away. So let's rewind. Here's midday Friday, all of the activity here. But then when we fast forward, it's all moved off to the east. So consider that for your planning. If you have any Friday evening dinner plans, Friday night football plans, right now it looks good that we might be able to get some of that out of the way. And that continues into the remainder of Friday evening and Friday night, although you did see maybe some fog trying to roll in overnight into Saturday morning. So here's temperatures. Like I told you, we are kind of warming up, right? Compared to, yes, it is cool outside right now, but compared to yesterday morning, it's not as cool. And that's the key, because today we're going all the way to almost 80 for places like Wiggins, for places like Saucher, Van Cleve, Diamond Head, The Kill, Poplarville, Picayune, areas that are to the north of I-10. You'll be around 78, 79, 80 for the high this afternoon. By the beaches, places like Ocean Springs, Waveland, Long Beach, Pass Christian, Gaucher, Pascagoula, maybe only around 74, 75, 76 for a high temperature today. Now let's show you the next 4 days and notice the trend. Everyone's getting warmer. Your coastal places, mid 70s, upper 70s, around 80 by Saturday. Your inland places, close to 80 already, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then going into the even warmer lower 80s by Saturday. So Saturday is going to be kind of the peak of the temperature mountain. As we are trending milder and milder and milder, we're at the peak of the roller coaster. And like they say on the roller coaster ride, everybody, hands up, we're about to fall down that hill as we go from Saturday to Sunday to next Monday. Now, the drop from Saturday to Sunday is only small. It's only like a 5-degree drop from 80 to the middle 70s. It'll still feel kind of regular. But once we go to Monday and we're barely hitting 60 and it's really windy all day, so there's a wind chill factor during the day, you're going to want to really be bundled up, layered up for the chill if you have any plans out and about next Monday. Also notice next Tuesday, the wind might relax a little bit, but it's still going to be rather chilly, barely hitting 60 for a high temperature in South Mississippi. And then there's this little frozen moment that happens right between Monday and Tuesday, Monday night into Tuesday morning. That's going to be that time in which we could find near freezing temperatures across our area. So yes, there's basically going to, I think we are likely going to see some alerts in place for Monday night into Tuesday morning, as it will likely be our first freeze of the season, and that will effectively end the growing season. People that have sensitive vegetation outside, if you have tender plants outside, these are the types of conditions that could actually harm those plants, that vegetation. So that's what we're tracking, the freeze risk for next week. The strong cold front arrives Sunday. We turn chilly and breezy next Monday, and then the temperatures absolutely plummet heading into next Monday night and Tuesday morning. And that's despite the wind chill. You know, just temperatures alone will be in the lower and middle 30s. If there's even a little bit of a breeze, we might find wind chill numbers creeping into the 20s. So there's a look at the upper pattern for Sunday. This is late Sunday, that powerful cold front moving in, unlocking the gates of the cold Canadian air that surges down toward the Gulf Coast. And the risk of freezing, we checked this yesterday. Guess what? Probability going up. compared to yesterday. Look at the probabilities now for your Tuesday morning. We're into the dark blue color, even seeing a little bit of purple. So yesterday, this was on the lower end for probability for Tuesday morning. Now we're checking again probability Tuesday morning, and this is above your 50-50 shot of seeing a temperature of 32 degrees or colder around Tuesday morning. It doesn't last all day. By the time you get to noon, it's gone. And then if you even sneak peek to the following morning, you'll notice around 6 o'clock Wednesday morning, there might also be a chance for some places to get down to 32 again. It won't be everywhere, but in a few places we might have a light freeze again on Wednesday morning. But Tuesday morning is the focus one, and that's taking a look at all of the temperatures that are currently forecast for Tuesday morning. And you can see many places down into the middle and lower 30s. Some of the coldest numbers appear to be 32 in Moss Point, in Hurley, and Loosedale, Saussure 32, Wiggins 32, Picayune 32. We also find 31 in Poplarville. So those are going to be some of those coldest areas that have the greatest risk of harm to people and pets, of damage to plants from this type of freeze. Along the coast, it's still cold enough that you might want to make sure your plants are protected, even with those middle 30s. And these numbers are not final. As we get closer and closer, new information might come in that makes it even colder than we initially expected. So be sure to check back in case there's any adjustments to these numbers, because those aren't finalized. So this is a look at the risk of freezing in Gulfport. And like I said, they're going to kind of be, the coastal places, kind of a one and done. Your Tuesday morning freeze, and then you're done. But for the inland areas, Wiggins and other places north of I-10 that we just mentioned, you have a much higher chance of seeing that freeze on Tuesday morning, and then you also introduce just a little chance of freezing as we go into next Wednesday morning as well. But that's it, right? You don't see this like some whole week of freeze. It's just going to either be a one and done or maybe a 1.5 and done, basically. So there's a look at the temperature trend over the next 10 days, just to get you through the rest of next week. We know Veterans Day is next Tuesday. Then you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And, you know, again, a lot of scale here for this roller coaster ride, where we're mild and above normal through the weekend. And then the plunge as we head to Sunday, Monday 60, Tuesday 60 for a high. And then we're back to the 70s. So it's not going to last forever. Just the first part of next week will be unusually chilly. And then we'll get back to kind of typical swing of things. As those were the afternoons, these are the mornings. And again, this is just for the coast. There would be a different chart for the inland areas that have, you know, for that 35 that's on the coast. Inland areas 32, 31. But the same kind of trend is there. When you look at the graph, way above normal for our mornings. The weekend mornings, 60s. No wonder we're going to have fog on Saturday morning, 65 degrees, plus coming off of a day after maybe having some rain showers in the area. Could be a foggy Saturday morning. Might also be a foggy setup for your Sunday morning too, with the same type of temperature profile, even though the soil will probably be less wet, as we'll have a day of mostly dry weather Saturday. But then that's your Sunday low, 63. And this is an interesting low, by the way, because I do wonder, the 63, that's Sunday morning's low. It might already start to get so chilly Sunday evening that you actually have a new low temperature. And Sunday's lowest temperature might actually happen not in the morning, but actually in the evening, like at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. So that 63 is just for morning. Don't be misled. It might get chillier. There's your Monday morning, 43. Again, that might also be another tricky one. The 43 is Monday morning's low, but we're going to be approaching freezing Monday night. So that 9 p.m. Monday, that 10 p.m. Monday, that 11 p.m. Monday temperature might be colder than 43. But we'll call it the 43 for Monday morning's low. And then you go down to 35, like I said, 32, 31 inland. From Tuesday morning's freeze, we're expecting that freeze. This is so far below normal, folks. It's November on the Mississippi coast, which should be at 52. But we've got all of this wild variation on our temperature scale. But for the coast, it's that one morning, the light freeze, and then you're done. And we go to Wednesday morning of next week, you're looking at 40, still chilly, but not the freeze, right? Now, inland areas could come close to freeze. You saw that low chance, but coastal areas 44. And then finally, back closer to normal when we go to next Thursday morning, next Friday morning, around 52, which is really close to normal for middle November to have lower 50s for morning low temperatures. So that just gives you an idea of the scale of this mid-November cold snap. It's not going to last all next week, but it does look like it's going to stick around for the mornings of the first half of next week, as well as the afternoons of the first half of next week. So that's what we want to just give you a heads up about as we kind of wrap up this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. A lot going on over the next 7 days, but this is the fall season. When you transition from summer to winter, you're going to have a lot of weather coming at you. And we've got multiple things that we're tracking for you over the next 7 days, whether it's the potential for foggy mornings, whether it's the potential for some rain showers and thunderstorms at times on Friday. Good news, the weekend not as rainy for your weekend festivities and events. And it's going to be mild and comfortable, not cold for the weekend. But then we're tracking cold back to work, back to school next Monday with windy weather, wind chills, and then a freeze Monday night that could harm people and pets and damage plants. So plenty to go off there for today's video. But thank you so much for sticking around to the very end. If you've watched this long, I truly appreciate you and your passion and curiosity to learn so much about weather. Well, that'll do it for today's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. We'll catch you again next time.
Thank you for watching Waking Up with Wesley with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.